Welcome to this edition of Collier Focus. On today's show, we'll take a look at the Board of County Commissioners meeting. The Blue Ribbon Panel on Advanced Life Support makes its recommendations. And the Naples Depot is open again, and the renovation is getting rave reviews. I'm Troy Miller. We'll cover these stories and more next on Collier Focus. Stay tuned.
Whether reporting on the latest news stories or hot issues, taking a look at county government services, or announcing what's happening around the county, this is Collier Focus, bringing government home.
At the recent Board of County Commissioners meeting, the Blue Ribbon Committee studying advanced life support and pre-hospital care presented its findings. Blue Ribbon Committee member Edward Morton says the committee studied a tremendous amount of data and met with multiple county agencies before making their recommendations.
The linchpin of the entire recommendation is to create a group, which we call an authority, can be called a commission, can be called a council, but a group that would be put together formally by the county, that would always meet in the sunshine, that would come together with all of the various appropriate disciplines and would hear the evidence and would adjudicate, make decisions or recommendations as to what should be brought to the county commission for final decision, and create this body, this authority, that would basically have the authority, if you will, to listen to all of the dialogue and to make formal recommendations to the Collier County Commission.
The board voted unanimously to accept the report and then have a workshop with all interested parties in order to decide which of the recommendations they want to adopt. We will keep you posted on this matter when it comes back before the commissioners. The board accepted staff's recommendations for projects and policy priorities for the 2012 fiscal year legislative agenda. The report emphasized the need to make grant dollars a priority as the House will be working under an earmark freeze. The list of project priorities for federal funding include the I-75 Everglades Boulevard interchange, Naples Bay restoration, beach renourishment, a tri-county water interconnect, and a new Ochopee EMS fire station on Alligator Alley, and a Medflight aircraft. The arbitration results regarding rezoning in an RLSA were presented to the Commission. The county had agreed to a non-binding arbitration to determine whether or not it takes 3 or 4 votes to amend an RLSA. The arbiter agreed with the landowners that it only takes 3 votes to amend an RLSA. Now, this item came up as a result of a potential site for a biomedical park connected to Jackson Lab in an RLSA in eastern Collier County. In a related note, on the consent agenda, the board voted to dismiss their bond complaint that would determine if there is a valid public purpose for a bond issue for Jackson Lab funding. This move was a result of Jackson Lab's decision to withdraw their funding request application with the state of Florida. The board heard a presentation by Robert Hallman on the impact of the recent freeze to agribusiness in Collier County, as well as other areas in southwest Florida. Hallman reports that recent freezes have done substantial damage to fruit and vegetable crops, including tomatoes and peppers. Hallman estimates the damage at over $140 million. Commissioner Jim Coletta voiced his concern for the future of agribusiness in Collier County.
This is very disconcerting, not just this year, but it seems like there's a pattern that's been picking up steam as we go forward. I know originally many years ago, citrus used to be grown all the way up to the Florida-Georgia line. And then they started experiencing freezes, and then that line for growing citrus was moved farther and farther south over the years. I don't know if this is an ongoing trend that's going to continue, but agriculture is a base for the community. It seems to be a weak argument anymore. I'm beginning to question the validity of, I don't know how these people can exist, other than the fact that the few times that they really get a crop out, it must be worth an absolute fortune to be able to offset the losses they suffer year after year. At some point in time, we're going to have to look at this rationally to be able to figure out where we stand as a community as far as agriculture as an economic engine. What I'd like to talk to you about offline is coming to the Regional Planning Council, making your presentation, and maybe we can get the university to sponsor a study to be able to come up with some sort of cause and effect that's been taking place over the years, so that we as a community can be prepared what's going to be happening in the future. Whenever we go into these declines of the agriculture due to diseases or most likely freezes, we have a profound effect upon the community that's never ending. Immokalee being dependent upon low cost labor to be able to harvest these crops, people are out of work, so then we have to turn to the private sector, nonprofits, to be able to keep them going until the next crop comes in again. It seems to be a never-ending, repetitive situation.
Most of the crop damage occurred north of Immokalee. This is the second winter in a row Collier's crops have been impacted by cold weather. The Commission took a few minutes to recognize some outstanding county employees. The Florida Public Transportation Association awarded its Bus Mechanic of the Year award to Collier County's Stephen Hayes of the Fleet Management Department. Human Resources Training Coordinator Samantha Moran was named the county's Employee of the Year for 2010. We here at Collier Focus want to add our congratulations to both Stephen and Samantha for a job well done. Well, it's time for a break. When we come back, new walking trails are open at Pepper Ranch, and the scenery is nature at its best. And the Naples Depot reopens after an extensive renovation, and the results are incredible. All of that and more when Collier Focus continues. Welcome back to Collier Focus. Conservation Collier continues to expand public access to Pepper Ranch in Immokalee. Public access has been limited since the ranch was purchased, but recently some newly marked walking trails have been opened. The ranch is the crown jewel of Conservation Collier, which is a taxpayer-funded program that purchases environmentally sensitive lands in order to protect them from future development. Pepper Ranch is now open to the public on non-hunt weekends from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And if you want more information, call Crystal Segura at 252-2495. All aboard Collier County's newest museum. The Naples Museum is once again open to visitors after a full renovation. The first trains arrived in 1927 at the Naples Depot while it was still under construction. The station served the railroad until 1971 when service was discontinued. Now visitors can visit the depot and take a ride back in time without ever leaving the station.
It is very historically accurate. We tried to keep the integrity of this building intact. There were several things that we had to add to bring certain things up to code. Not everything could be brought up to code, but we did have to add a fire sprinkler system and ADA accessible ramps and corridors that are ADA accessible as well. So, but other than that, everything is historically accurate in here that you see. As you walk into this building, this is where you would purchase tickets. Then right behind this wall is the station master's office, and that has most of our railroad history. The next room is another waiting area, and that also contains railroad history, but Naples didn't have a whole lot of railroad traffic, so we couldn't fill this whole building with railroad history. So the theme is pretty much transportation and how that contributed to the development of Naples. Every 7.5 minutes, the Orange Blossom Special steams back into Naples. The first time it arrived here was January 7th, 1927, and that's what we're trying to depict with that video display.
You can also climb aboard a real caboose and 2 other authentic railroad cars located at the museum. The museum is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 4. The depot is located at 1051 Fifth Avenue South in downtown Naples.